Alright guys, how you doing? My name is Rabea, this is my afro, and this is Ask the Fro number 12, where I answer your questions that you ask my fro. So just a quick one, there's no sponsor in this video as such, but I just wanted to let you guys know that the beginning of this video when I was doing some riffage was on my brand new prototype one of my signature bare knuckle pickup. That is correct, I have got a bare knuckle pickup, a signature bare knuckle pickup coming out in the coming months. It's probably one of the most exciting things that's ever happened for me as a guitar player. Some of you may know, I've been using bare knuckles since 2007. When I heard about them, when I wanted to get a new bridge pickup for my Washburn N4, and that was back when Tim was still answering sales calls on the phone, and I asked him what would work for me, and he said, you need to use the Warpig, and I've used the Warpig since then. That's been my favourite pickup. I've had it in all my guitars, up until the Ragnarok, which goes in the baritone. I've been using bare knuckles since then. I've used them since then, been loyal to the brand, loved using their pickups, always recommended them, and lo and behold, more than 10 years later, after doing stuff like the boot camp range and all that kind of things, Tim gave me a call and said, I think it's time we talked about a pickup. And so that is the case. We're making a signature pickup. I went down to Bath to hang with Nolly and Tim and design. He brought a load of prototypes up with him. Some of you may have seen on my Instagram and things like that. I'm trying to keep it a bit quiet. But anyway, we landed on a favourite, which is now in this guitar. This is the prototype. It may change. It will change visually maybe. But I'll just show you real fast. I had it wired into my ML3 beer, as you can see here on the close-up cam. It's basically double hex bolts, humbucker. All I'm going to tell you right now is it's an Alnico 5. So we did try ceramics, hybrids, all that kind of thing, and the one that we landed on was an Alnico 5, which is funny because the first Warpig I got was an Alnico 5. It's kind of weird. But anyway, it works and it sounds sick. And it isn't necessarily something I wanted to go for being like a genty, high gain, metal, prog metal pickup, even though I just shredded it on the high gain stuff. I wanted it to be very versatile and more vocal, so it's not super high output. But anyway, we'll go into more details later on. I just wanted to give you all a heads up about that because I'm really excited. Don't know if you can tell. Anyway, let's get on to the questions. Okay, first question is from Mr. Scrunchy1, and he says, hey Rabea, what's your favourite Pantera riff? That's a really hard question. Hopefully some of you know, I'm a massive Dimebag fan. Dave introduced me to Pantera back in the day. What's really interesting, actually, I'll tell you a quick story. So I was into Pantera, but I didn't really know of them too much at the time when Dime died. In fact, I didn't really listen to them back then. But I remember coming into college one time and all my friends who were into metal were really bummed out, and I found out that Dime had died, and I was like, oh, that's really sad. But I wasn't really a fan, I didn't really listen to them then. And it was only a couple of years later when Dave got me into Pantera and I was starting to listen to them loads, I was getting into them. And I had a dream one night, this is really random, I've never shared this on YouTube, but I had this dream one night where it was like post-apocalyptic, like everything's gone to hell, like the whole city's just burned to shreds, it's full on. And it's like really cinematic, like the scene sets in this kind of old rundown building, and there's like a bunch of metalheads, myself included. There was Dave's brother John, who edits these videos, and like the guys from Pantera, and just like a big crew of people. And Dime was like giving this big speech about how like he wants to make sure we all stick together, and like, we have to make a difference, and we have to like overthrow this situation. And then there was like this big battle, like this big intense situation that happened, and it was like quite blurry. It's many years ago now, but then I remember the next part of the dream was Dime had been killed, and he was like lying on this table, and everyone was stood around him really upset, and like he'd fallen in battle kind of thing, and it was really sad. And I woke up super emotional, like, and I'm never really I'm not like an overly emotional person, like really, but like I woke up and I was really, really sad. And it just burned into my memory about this feeling of losing Dimebag, and it was just a really strange thing. And then from then on, I've just like gotten more and more into Pantera, and then just became a huge fan. And although it was late in the day to become a fan of Pantera, that's kind of what happened. So there you go. There's a story about how I got into Pantera. But back to my favourite Pantera riff. Oh man, it's gonna be A New Level. A New Level was the first Pantera riff I heard. It's the song we play live with Frog Leap, and it's still my favourite. It's just so crushing. just, the first time I heard it, I was like, that is the definition of heavy. They have nailed that heavy sound, and that's what they do so well. And it was just awesome. So yeah, for me, my favourite Pantera riff is definitely A New Level. Next question is from Alex Axe Lewis. He says, hey Beer, do you ever get discouraged from playing by watching other musicians, or do they always inspire you to greater things? That's a great question. Maybe you didn't see, or some of you guys may not have seen a video I did called There Are So Many Other Better Guitarists in the World, and it was just my thoughts and opinions on exactly that. You know, when you see other players that are so incredible, how does it affect you? Does it stop you in your progression? Does it stump you in your like growth as a musician? Does it dishearten you? Do you want to quit? You know, do you want to cut your hands off and stop playing? Sometimes I think everybody feels like that, is the conclusion I got to, and I think a lot of people that commented on the video got to. I had guys like Tom Quayle commenting, saying the same thing. You know, he feels it from time to time, and I'm like, Tom, you're an absolute machine. How can you feel like that? But like, it came from a place of seeing guys like Mateus, who was just this beautiful melodic, like really incredibly articulate player that just gets you in the feels. Then you've got Joey Landreth, who's like incredible, similar kind of thing, but like slide and like feels and then beautiful vocal. And then you got guys like Rick Graham, who are just technically insane, but they've also got great feel and melody. There's so many players out there that I watch and go, oh man, I am never going to be like that. I am never going to be able to play like that. But I think you just can't dwell on it. You really can't. Like, I have a choice to either dwell on it and really feel disheartened with my guitar playing. But, you know, sometimes I do. Sometimes I sit there and go, it's the same old stuff I've heard over and over again. Like, do something new with your guitar playing and just put the guitar down and leave, you know. And then other times I'm really into it. So what that says to me is it's a headspace. It's a mindset that I'm in that makes me go, oh, I'm into this, or no, I'm not. Like, because I can't focus, because just I've got head trash. So my advice to you would be, just enjoy the fact that you can play guitar, like that you've spent time to learn to get to a point where you can play, and enjoy writing songs, playing your favorite solos, playing your favorite riffs, because that's really what it's all about. All the rest of it is just peripheral stuff that doesn't really make a difference to you in your life and you as a musician. So yeah, just try and enjoy the hard work that's paid off for you to be able to do what you do. Hopefully that was helpful. Next question is from Jacob Halsey, and he says, hey Beer, are you and Hanna ever going to record an album together? I love everything you guys have done and would love to see that. Keep up the great work, man. Thank you for the question. We've not done anything together like original material yet. Like, we did the Wicked Game cover. We've just actually recorded something really exciting with Universal Audio yesterday, which will be out at some point after this video is out. Hanna and I, there is crossover in music taste, and it's more down to time and the fact that I'm so busy, and when I'm finished for the day doing stuff like this and playing guitar and just, you know, exerting energy in the things I'm interested in doing, then sometimes Hanna wants to do stuff together and I'm like, I'm so tired, I've been doing it all day. And really, I would like to do something with Hanna. I think she's an incredible singer, she's an incredible musician, she can play guitar, piano, she can sing, she's great with harmony, she can do so many things as a musician, she's not just a singer. That I'd really like to explore that and see where something could go, but I just think because we're together and it's been like, we live together and like, you know, I don't know, like at some point it will happen. I'm pretty confident in that, but right now I'm not really thinking about it too much. But when those opportunities do arise, then of course, like absolutely, hence the Wicked Game thing. So yeah, I'm not counting my chickens yet, but I think something will happen at some point soon. Next question is from Joe Sorrentino. He says, hey Rabea, I was listening to the Skin Deep EP by your old band Chasing Jade, and I was wondering what the influences were for that EP. I can hear some Incubus and Limp Bizkit. Cheers. Wow, Skin Deep. So that EP is still, I believe, on my SoundCloud. It's my old band with Ben and Dave and a guy called Charlie Robinson on vocal. And that was the first band that I was so serious about. I think we all were. We all wanted to make it. We all wanted it to be our thing. So we put everything into it. Sadly, Charlie left. He'd had a change of kind of career and wanted to do something else with his life, which is totally cool. But that's really interesting that people listen to that. Incubus were a huge influence on us all, particularly the Science era. We were big into that. This is before we heard Carnival or anything like that. Like Incubus were a big influence. Limp Bizkit were also a huge influence, not because of Fred Durst, but because of the band being so good, so groovy and brutal when they needed to be. And yeah, it's funny that you say that, because those two were probably one of the main influences for that EP, along with a band called Snot, new metal basically. We were all kids of new metal, so we were big into that. It's a fun EP. If you've not heard it or heard of it, then maybe check it out. I mean, it's old. We were in our teens. So it's got that juvenile sheen over it, before we really sort of found our feet as musicians. But I still listen to it, and I find it's quite funny to listen to. And I have fond memories of those years. But you are right, Incubus and Limp Bizkit were the big influences there.
Now the water's getting warmer, and we've told our many lies. This bitterness evoked a strength to form the best disguise. But the ones who stood behind us knew that this play had been cast. It's all just an act whereby nothing is seen. But I envision live so damn far from where we are. So defensive, so undermined.
Next question is from Paul Hobson. He says, I've heard you say a few times you blew out your knee skateboarding. What trick were you trying when you did that? Also, who are some of your favourite skaters past and present? Thank you for a question about skating. For those of you who don't know, I'm a die-hard skateboarding fan. I identify as a skateboarder to this day. It was the first love of mine before music. I just addicted to it. Every day I'd go out and skate if I could. I've actually been skating recently, and I actually fell and really injured my arm. So I've been off for a week from the gym and everything because my arm's just a bit harsh. So I'm not skating for now because I've got gigs and I can't be ruining any other part of my body. And I'm 31, I ache. In any case, I'm a big skateboarding fan. And yes, I blew out my knee. I couldn't drum after that, so I picked up the guitar. So I could thank skateboarding in one sense for me playing guitar. But I was trying to kickflip down a stair set. I believe it was a 10 stair, and I'd caught the flip, I'd spotted the landing, and I was on my mate's board, and I was like, nah, if I snap this, I'm gonna have to pay him, and I don't have any money, I'm a kid, So I kicked out, but it was too late, I was too near the ground, so my leg was at full extension as I kicked out, and my leg went full extension, full body weight in the wrong way, and it popped in and popped back out, tore the ligament, and I was out. Couldn't skate for quite a while, and the operation they had to drill through the bone to get to the ligament to sew it up or graft it. So I had to wait for the operation for like a few years. So I carried on skating after that for years and years and got a lot better. And all my like skateboarding career, if you want to, it wasn't a career, but like what I did in that time was with a damaged ligament. All the big stairs I did, all the ledges, all the best stuff I ever did as a skater happened with a damaged ligament. But I've been skating recently at the level in Brighton, and just actually getting the flow back. Those of you who skate will know that there's a flow that you can ride a board down the road, you can pop a flatland trick, but the flow around a park, so you don't have to come off and you can control your speed and carve, you lose that if you don't do it. So I've been really focusing on doing that lots, and going up and down, transitions and things like that, and actually managed to stick a couple of nice tricks and just get it back. But I'm definitely nowhere near, can't even compare to what I used to be like as a skater. A little bit of trivia for you is Liam Colin Kearley from Black Peaks, the drummer in Black Peaks, is a phenomenal skateboarder, and he is unreal. So if you ever get a chance to see him skate at the level, if you live in Brighton, I suggest you do that because he's awesome. But my favourite skaters, I love Shane O'Neill. I think he's absolutely pushing the boundaries of tech right now. I really like Nick Tucker because he's got the most insane pop of any skater I've seen of recent times. I mean, a lot of people kind of hate on him, but Niger, you can't argue with the fact Niger Houston is possibly the most consistent skater in the world. Like, he wins all the competitions. You can't argue with the fact he's been skating since he was a kid and he's just on it, just absolutely fire on a skateboard. But I can agree that some people think he's a bit cocky now because he wins a lot of competitions. Whatever. Yeah, I like a lot of different skaters. Yuto Horigome, who's just turned pro, he's also really good. Anyway, enough about skateboarding. Thank you for the question. Next question is from Mike Duttill, and he says, do you ever have a major label approach you? How you do it? Would you do it? Sorry. No, I've not had a major label approach me, and no, I wouldn't do it because the landscape has shifted so much now in the music industry that the very fact that I'm doing this as a career is testament to the fact that the landscape has changed as musicians. The fact that I can create YouTube videos, have a following that way, get a career out of doing that, and then have a band, and then my followers, some of which enjoy the music that I do, and then come to shows and then buy merch and CDs and then make that a viable career path that we can actually go out and tour and do that. And we sold out our last tour, all off the back of what, there's no major label. I think the best thing that major labels can do is some PR stuff because they've got big budgets and also distribution routes and things like that. But to be honest, I don't think I'd do it. I think A, they own your music. B, they give you an advance, depending on the deal you sign, that you have to pay back. They have to recoup it. So your first album might do really well, but you might see nothing of the money because the investment that they gave you to make that, they have to get back. It's just not worth it. If you've got the means to be able to do it a different way, then I suggest you do that. And in my case, I've been very fortunate that I can do it the way I choose to, and I have control over my own career with music, in the sense that if I want the band to go on tour, if we decide we're going to go on tour, then we'll do it because we have the time to do it, and we can fund ourselves to do it. Yes, it's expensive, and yes, it skints us, but if we go out and we sell out shows and we sell merch and people can connect with us and listen to the music, then isn't that what we're trying to do this for? Things like Frog Leap, the kind of shows we've just done and the festivals coming up is off the back of YouTube. Yes, major labels still have a big part in that. They do. And for a lot of bands, they're still using major labels and it works. But there are many other ways to do it now, and I'm doing it my way, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. So, no, to answer your question, I wouldn't do it. Next question is from Ged Dead. He says, how do you learn all the songs for Sound Like? Always amazes me. Thank you. And we learn them literally about 5 minutes before we press go on the camera. Like, we'll choose the artist maybe a week before so we know what gear we need to get so it gets brought from the warehouse. We shoot the video, but then we get into the video room, start dialing in the tones, and then we put on, whilst we're doing that, we listen to the songs and go, oh yeah, that sounds kind of close and blah 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 blah. Right, how's it go? And I just, for years and years and years when I was learning, I worked things out by ear. I put on a CD, listen, rewind, until I got it down. And that's what we do with Sound Like. Matt's not, he doesn't do that as much, but a lot of the stuff we can just show each other I can show him really quick and go, look, this is what it is, or he'll listen to it and kind of, he's developed his ear a lot over the years. And I think since doing Sound Like, he's also developed his ear a lot. Doing that as well, listening out for parts specifically and tone shaping and stuff. But yeah, no, to tell you the truth, we learn them on the spot, which is why sometimes the riffs aren't played the same. We got a lot of hate for Tool when we did Tool because we didn't play the riffs right. I was like, dude, I learned this about 10 minutes before, so I don't know if it's going to be right. So look at the draw. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy the challenge, and it keeps my ear, in tune. So yeah, that's what we do. Thank you for the question. Next question is from Nicholas Hjorth, and he says, what video/demo did Come See Come Sa come from? I love that song. Can you maybe make a playthrough video of that song? To be honest, it wasn't in a video. When I did my Superior Drummer playthrough, that's where it was from. Superior Drummer tutorials, I started programming the drums for that song. So it's not actually from a demo of any kind. So yeah, unfortunately there isn't a video for it. I may do a playthrough at some point, but it's quite a long time ago. I can't remember how to play it. But on that note, Grinding Gears 2 is very much coming out on the 21st of June. So if you're watching this before then, it comes out on the 21st of June. I'll be doing another announcement anyway, but thank you for all the support for Grinding Gears. As I said, Volume 2 out 21st of June. Last question is from Antibody Jeans. He says, hi Beer, love your vids. I learn a lot. Thank you very much. He says, do you have a Patreon? I totally support it. Thank you very much, dude. Or didn't know this was going to be the last question. But no, I don't have a Patreon. I've never done that kind of thing. Any kind of like pay to subscribe, pay for this, pay for that, like give me money if you feel like it's worth it kind of thing. I don't know. Never really done it. Nothing against people that do that. I just never crossed my mind that it would be something that I would do. And I also don't really have anything extra to offer for that kind of service. Like, not that I can think of anyway. Like, if there are any ideas that you think that'd be cool for extra content, and anybody that would actually, contribute to a Patreon, then put it in the comment section below and I might consider it. It might be something that I might do. But to be honest, off the top of my head, it's not something that I feel comfortable doing, is going, if you like me, pay me money just because. So yeah, I don't have a Patreon. But anyway, that being said, if you think it's a good idea and you want to give me some ideas of the kind of thing you'd want if you did that thing, then put it in the comment section. Anyway, that has been Ask the Fro number 12. Thank you very much for your questions. Please ask more in the comment section below and I'll do my very best to answer them. I really enjoy doing these videos and it's really cool to connect with you all on that level. So let's keep it going, ask more questions. In the meantime, I've been Rabea and I'll see you all very soon.